2025 CFMOTO Cforce 800. We have one right here. We're going to dive in today talking about some of the things I really like about this quad, and if you're shopping for one, these might spark your interest and maybe persuade you one way or the other. We're also going to do a video in the future on some of the things I dislike about this, and honestly, I don't have a lot of things I dislike about this, but we're diving in today showing you some of the stuff I really like about this one. Like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Okay, we're gonna start up here at the front because there's a lot of stuff going on up here at the front that is different from last year. And let's start with the winch down here. I mean, look how clean this is. Now, CFMOTO really incorporated a lot of details. Look at this fair lead right here. Made out of metal. It has CFMOTO like literally embossed in the metal. It's just the little details that have kind of, swayed me towards this brand a little bit. Look at this winch. Look at the hook on it. CFMOTO. And this is a nice quality winch. Nice little rubber piece right here. I mean, it's just the details that I think really make this shine. And look, it has a synthetic winch line. You don't get that on just about any brand. I mean, I have a Can-Am XTP over here. It came with a metal winch line. And that thing was $6,000 more than this quad right here. So I think that's a pretty cool little addition they added in. It's the little details, I'm telling you guys, that make this thing kind of stand out amongst the rest. All right, the next thing is the ability to remove the little grill. That way you can pressure wash this out a lot easier. Look at that. The entire thing is removable. You can get in here, pressure wash this out, get all that debris out of your radiator. That's going to keep your quad running nice and cool every single time you go out. Really cool little feature that they incorporated into this quad. Another thing this quad comes with from the factory is LED lights. Look at those. They got high and low beams, and these just work really good. They're very functional, and there's not a lot of quads you get from the factory with LED lights, so they're kind of setting the standard with that too. The thing I really like about this is the looks. This thing took it to a new level this year with the looks. This thing just looks mean. Looks good all the way around. I mean, look at some of the body lines on this quad. I think it looks really good, especially up here, right in front of the rider. These body lines just look really good. And it's well refined. I mean, there's things about my Can-Am that aren't as refined as this machine. Looks really good. Even with the 2-up setup, I think this thing looks good. And this thing comes with black alloy wheels. And it has the Stag tires. I mean, just a really good combination for a quad that's around 10,000 bucks. It's a heck of a deal. I mean, you're getting a lot of bang for the buck with this. This possibly is the best bang for your buck ATV out on the market. No doubt about it. And I know there's some questionable things about the quality, but honestly, comparing it to the Can-Am, there's not a lot that I've even found that I would consider subpar with this ATV. I mean, this thing just looks good all the way around. Minus that exhaust. I think the exhaust looks a little out of place, but it's what it is. Very solid looking ATV though. Another thing I like is these compartments. There's one on the front, one on the back. The one on the back houses the battery, but these are so easy to remove. You just pop them up, push it forward, and you can remove it. And then you can access your radiator, top it off. You got your coolant fill over here. It's just so accessible. For my Can-Am, I have to literally take off that whole front piece in front of the handlebars there, and it's just a pain in the butt. This just makes it really quick and easy. Show you the battery compartment, same thing. Push it towards the rear, and then there's your battery. So if you need to hook up a battery tender when you're not riding, I mean, it can't get more accessible than that right there. Look at these metal foot pegs for the passenger and the rider. You don't get that with a lot of quads. This is a really nice addition. Once again, details matter to me. I think this is another one of those little details they've added in. Up here on the shifter, this is actually rubberized. And I know that may not, mean a lot to a lot of people, but I think it's a good little addition. Can-Am, once again, had like a little cheapo plastic little shift knob right here. That's why I ended up putting a pistol grip on that one. But this right here, I'm leaving this. And the shifter is so smooth. I mean, look at this. I don't even have this thing on, and it's able to just move around nice and freely. Can't do that on a Can-Am, and you can't do that on a Polaris. This right here, there's no shaking it back and forth to get it to go in gear. This thing is super smooth. CFMOTO has pretty much copied exactly what Can-Am is doing with this two-up riding stuff. I mean, there's not a lot of quads out there that give you the two-up ability with a nice cushy seat in the back like Can-Am and the CFMOTOs. And this is a fraction of the cost. This two-up riding seat is literally identical, has the same rubber down here for the grips, and they're nice and solid. I mean, I've heard some people complaining. I think it was probably on the 2024s where these were a little bit flimsy. These are not flimsy. These things are really good, and the backrest is nice and solid. I've heard, I want to say once again, it was the 2024 models. These were a little flimsy. This is not flimsy at all. Honestly, this is probably a little bit more sturdy with the backrest than the Can-Am is. But nonetheless, very, very solid seat. I think CFMOTO got it right on this one. Hand guards. Not a lot of quads come with hand guards. This one does. And they're pretty solid. I wouldn't say they're flimsy or anything. These are probably just like what you could get for your motocross bike or something like that. These are probably about that quality. They're not as high quality as the Can-Ams, I will say, but these are a nice little addition for 10 grand. This right here is nice. And then the steering stem, the little centerpiece, the cap for the steering stem. I mean, that looks cool. It looks like a race quad if you're sitting just like this looking at it. I think that's a nice addition. And then they've cleaned up the controls so much for 2025. I mean, they've really cleaned up and made this more fine-tuned than what it was in previous models. Everything is just condensed. I mean, there's not a lot to go wrong. It's a little flip lever right here for the four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive selection. And then the diff lock is just a push button diff lock. And it won't even let you do it unless it's in four-wheel drive. And then it's just a push button. Very simple, very easy, straightforward. The throttle is even more refined for the 2025 models too, because look, it just rotates very easy. And the previous models were more over towards the grip. And when you would try to, really get down with the throttle, it was kind of hard. You had to kind of roll your wrist around. This right here, very easy, rotates exactly where you need it to. Moving over here, definitely condense the controls. Over here, you have your winch integrated into the controls, the in and out, makes things really clean, very organized. There's no levers or anything mounted over here. And that's gonna allow this brake fluid reservoir to sit right up here on top. Okay, and then you have your toggles for your screen right here, push of a button. You got your different modes. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up, or at least turn it on. Look at that, you can even see me right here as this thing powers up. Just a really cool screen. I know a lot of people's gonna say that these electronics that are coming on these quads are just overrated because it's gonna tear up. Well, I don't know if that's completely true, but the way I look at it, that is a tablet. So I can only imagine that if this were to tear up, it's just a simple plug and play. You pop that out and you can pop a new one in. And if it tore up just from everyday use, the factory warranty should cover that. But I haven't seen a lot of complaining about the screens going out or anything. I think they look really good. Very simple display. It's got all your lights and everything up here that come on. We're not started, that's why there's so many lights. You got your different modes that you can go through. and that's just by the mode selector right here. And let's talk about it really quick. These modes, in previous models, they were really jerky, like in work mode. You would put it in drive, and when you take off, literally the quad would like jerk forward because that belt was engaging and I guess just grabbing. Well, they have fine-tuned all the drive modes on this quad. They are all buttery smooth. Work mode, normal mode, sport mode, they're all the same when it comes to smoothness. Sport mode obviously has a little bit more grunt to it, a little bit more punch, but it is fine-tuned, guys. That is one thing they got right. Well, I guess they've got a lot of things right with this 2025 model, and that just added to it. All right, we got drive mode. You can see you can select it that way. It's easier just to select it the other way. You do have downhill assist. Or you can turn that on, turn it off. And I'm just toggling it over here. It's very simple. If we want to go to the power steering mode, all we have to do is hit enter, and then you can select how much power steering you want to be helping you out, or you can just set it to auto and it's going to do it for you. I just leave it on auto, and it seems to be working really good. All right, you can connect a phone to this, say a GPS, Bluetooth, change the brightness of the screen. All right, you can change the different units, kilometers, miles per hour, temperature, you can change all that stuff. Pretty cool with the selection, and they just really got it right, guys. This thing is just very fine-tuned, and it's working. I mean, this thing is just great so far. All right, we're done talking about the Cforce 800. This thing for 2025, they got just about everything right with this. I can't really say that there's much I really don't like about this. I honestly think this thing is a steal of a deal. If you're looking for a nice quad that puts out a lot of power, it's very fine-tuned, and you can get it at a very budget price. Definitely go check out the Cforce 800s. And CFMOTO has been doing a really good job with their entire lineup. They got really nice side-by-sides as well. So definitely go head down to your local dealer. Check these things out. If you're on the fence of whether or not you want to go with a Chinese brand ATV or side-by-side, just go ride one, go check it out for yourself. Go look at the quality, compare it to the other brands. That's enough ranting. I'll see you guys in future videos. Like and subscribe. See you later.